This is the plaintiff, Daniel Rice. He says he's a writer and met the defendant on the internet, hired her to edit his manuscript, and she's trying to take over his story and make it hers. Can you believe the nerve of some people? It's now a year and a half later. She won't return the money he paid her, and everything's one big mess. He's suing for $4,000 for the return of his payment. This is the defendant, Jan Sydenham. She says the plaintiff's a talented and creative person, but his command of the English language isn't exactly all there. She rewrote everything, and he and his wife were loving it. Problem was, he never paid her for her work, and when she made an issue of it, that's when things got bizarre between them. Just wait till the judge reads the emails. Bottom line, she's the one who's owed money. She's accused of telling quite a story. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,500. The balance owed.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff, a writer, says that he hired the defendant to edit his manuscript, and she tried to steal his story. But the defendant says if anyone was taken for a ride, it was her, and his spelling sucks. It's the case of you're a book crook.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. All right. Daniel Rice?
Yes.
You are suing Jan Sydenham for $4,000 that you want returned to you, that you paid her to edit a book, and things sort of fell apart between you two. You are counterclaiming $5,500, which is the balance due to edit/co-write the book. Talk to me, Mr. Rice. What's going on?
Okay, I went to an editor. I've been writing a book, Silence Speaks, for about 15 years.
The name of the book is Silence Speaks?
Silence Speaks, yes.
Okay.
And
Can you give me in a nutshell what it's about?
Yeah, it's a murder mystery story is what it's about. It's got a lot of characters involved. There's a lot of things going on all at once. And just when you think, things, you got things figured out, I throw a twist in and it goes to another. But
okay. So go ahead.
But I wrote the story Silence Speaks. It took me about 15 years to put it together. I had it in the closet, so to speak, and I decided to take it out and send it to an editor. And she put me in my
Now, the entire book was written already?
Not the entire book. I actually only gave her the first chapter. And I asked the editor what she thought of the chapter, if it needed work.
Who is the editor?
Miranda.
Another person, a third party.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So go on.
Miranda had gave me a letter, told me I basically needed help and everything in the writing department as far as English. But she says, as far as your story goes, you might have a great story here. I don't know. She goes, it needs to be professionally edited and rewritten. And so I went one step further and I went to Guru.com.
To where?
Guru, Guru.com.
Guru.com?
Yeah, Guru, yeah.
Guru.com, go on.
Where you can post your manuscript, and then there's a freelance writers in there, and they look at your manuscript.
Okay, so and then when you did that process, you hired the defendant?
Yes, I did. And what happened,
what terms do you agree on with her about this book?
Yeah, when I met her in Guru.com, she said she wanted $9,500 to do the book. I told her I didn't have the money up front, and she said that's fine. She goes, I'll write the book for you anyways, and then just pay me when you can. And she took me out of Guru.com, and she did the transactions outside of that.
Why? Because Guru.com is like they get a percentage?
Yeah, they do get a percentage, and you're not supposed to do transactions outside of Guru. And if you do, then you're on your own, and you could be in a legal battle where I'm here now, and
telling us all about it, just in case Guru.com missed any of it. But go ahead.
Yeah, and she had said that she wanted $9,500. I told her I didn't have the money up front, and she said that was fine as long as she.
So you agree to work together, and it's going to be for $9,500. And for $9,500, what's the scope of her work? What is it she's supposed to do?
She was going to rewrite my whole book.
But your book wasn't done yet, so how does she even know what she's rewriting if you're telling me it wasn't done yet?
It wasn't done at that time, but it was almost done. I was going to work with her as she rewrites it. Most of it was done.
Did you agree to rewrite the book for $9,500 without the book being finished?
It was a work in progress.
So you knew at the time?
Yes.
All right. So now you agree to terms, and it's what year?
I think I met June of last year.
Okay. And then so you start sending her chapter after chapter?
Right.
You don't send her the whole chunk?
Right. At first, she started writing, and she didn't want to know the story. She was so intrigued with the story. She goes, "Don't tell me the story. I love writing this because every time I'm writing it, I get more and more into it." It was about a year and a half later, and she had only finished, gave me 10 to 12 chapters.
And how many chapters had you given her?
I don't know, about 30.
Okay. And you still weren't done?
No, I wasn't done. No, I about 95,000 words. It was a big story I wrote.
Right.
And because I didn't pay her,
you didn't pay her anything?
Right. So I told my wife.
That's an awful lot of work then.
That's what I mean. I told my wife I'm not going to bark about it. But then I told her, I says, let's give her some money to give her an incentive to work on the book a little quicker. So I sent her $4,000, $3,500. And then I sent her another $500.
And you did that when?
On 1/18/2011,
okay,
I sent her $3,500.
And then what happens? When do things break down and why?
Right when she got the money, she gave me an email immediately after saying, "Sexually dark stories involving children, unless I'm writing about a true event, is not something I will do. There is enough true horror stories to keep readers entertained without writing fiction about the same thing. Silence Speaks will be more than entertaining. It will be captivating and educational. You're not going to go sick and twisted on me now, are you? You're such a nice person. Laugh out loud." That's the email she gave me right after she got the money. And my first chapter ends My first chapter ends with a child found murdered at the bottom of the stairs. So she tells me I don't do these kind of stories all the time.
Wait. We're a year and a half past the first chapter. This was something new that he sent you, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, you tell me, what was your problem with what happened?
In the text of the story, there is an older brother who has a 5-year-old sister that he is forcing to have sex with one of the other characters that has grown up in the story when he was 5 years old. And being a sexual abuse victim myself, I was not going to go there and write this as fiction. I write true events. I've written my own memoir, which detailed rape scenes and molestation, but I did it in a very gentle way so that I would not be offensive to anyone. They would know what was going on, but would not be reading it like members of a sex club would.
Okay,
and
what is it exactly that you received from him that made you feel like I can't do this? Because it was explicit?
Yeah, well...
You have it?
Yes, I do.
Hand it over, please.
Far more explicit than what I wanted to write.
This
is why you wait for a full manuscript to see if you want to work with somebody.
Right. Well, he didn't have that written.
Well, then don't
to me.
accept the job, right? Because what it sounds like is that you're agreeing to rewrite what he comes up with, and then you don't like what he comes up with. I mean, you're entitled to have your standards. The problem is that you have a deal with him already to do whatever he writes. Oh, yeah. First of all, before I start reading this stuff, is this what the chapter you received that caused the problem between the two of you that brings you to court? Let's make sure it's the right chapter.
I don't recognize this at all. He never gave this to me.
Do you happen to have in your possession the chapter that you felt was so vile that you have a right to back out of the deal?
It was not given to me per se. He had given me the idea of the chapter. So I sent him an email, unfortunately just after I received the money, that said, I did soften the sexual...
Show me the email. I did soften. Go on.
And he wrote back and says, you're not changing my story. Why are you changing my story? And I said, well, because the way you had it was a little too dark.
Okay.
So I changed it and I softened it. And he says, I like dark things. If you don't like dark things, you should venture forth and learn how to live on the dark side, Jan. And I says, well, I'm not that type of person, but I think you have an incredible story here, even if this is softened or even left out entirely.
Okay, but is that your call?
Well, we had been working on the story because I had changed. So what is your
role? I'm sorry, for $9,500, what is your role? Are you editing or are you a co-writer?
I'm a co-writer and an editor.
Did you guys have a contract?
No, and the reason
Did you guys have an email specifying what your role is? Where each of you talk about what is going to happen for the $9,500?
She talks about the contract at the very end. that she wants me to sign.
And what happens at the end? When she doesn't like what you're writing, and you don't like that she doesn't like what you're writing, what do?
I told her that for the $4,000, I wanted to take her rewrites and use them, and I won't bring it to small claims court.
You don't want to have anything else to do with her.
Right, I did exactly. I said, I told her I just want to go on with this book and put it in another freelance writer's hands and have them finish it. That's not afraid of Stephen King novels and stuff like that.
Okay.
It was the royalties.
Just a second. What is this? It's an email?
Yeah, an email from her that the contract that she wants me to sign into at the very end when we were having problems.
And she tells you that the only way, is this accurate? The only way I'll provide the remainder of the story to you will be based on you drop your small claims case immediately. You sign a contract stating that both of our names will appear on the cover. By the way, was that always the intent, that both names would appear on the cover?
She asked if her name could be on the cover. I had no problem with it.
That Jan Sydenham will be paid the remainder of her discounted fee, the balance of $5,500, first from the royalties, and that the remainder of the royalties will be split 50-50 from there on. That any movie royalties will be split 60-40, with Dan Rice receiving the greater share of the split, and that both names will appear in the credits as writers. Okay, now I'm going to ask both sides for the last time if either side has an email that shows what the original agreement was. This is an email from you to her at the beginning. We want you to write my story. We find you to be the best match. If we work this story together. Oh, you guys.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
Mr. Rice has indicated that he has only received minimal amount of chapters. I have the entire 300 plus pages on my zip USB drive here that was ready to be delivered to him until he started getting nasty and told me not to communicate with him whatsoever. It's all here.
It's all there, but you haven't given it to him.
He didn't want it.
This is a mess. I'm gonna take a recess.
All rise.
So can an editor change a storyline in a book? What do you think?
No, it's not her job.
What is the job of an editor? What is the job of an editor?
Correcting spelling, grammar errors, things like that.
So they can't say, hey, there's a flaw in your storyline, so I changed it? Can't do that?
Maybe you can if she really, if she has some interesting input.
Okay, if it's interesting, she can do it. Oh, I thought it was interesting. Going inside the courtroom.
All right, folks. As far as the $4,000 that has been paid so far, I am not going to allow you to recover it from her. As far as the $5,500 that has not been paid so far, I am not going to allow you to recover it from him. I find that you have earned your $4,000 up to date. I find that you breached the contract by deciding that you were going to no longer take his stuff and write it well, but instead change the plot. That wasn't your right. I respect you as a person that you made that decision. It's just that question is now, where do we find ourselves legally? The problem that we have is that now what happens with your rights to be an author on the book? Let's say the book does get published. He's definitely going to have to find somebody else to help him write it. That person may rewrite absolutely everything you did. We have no idea where this is going. We don't even know if you're going to want your name on the front of that book, given the twists and turns that are happening now. You probably don't even want your name on that book. So, am I right? Do you want your name to end up on that cover, or you don't?
It depends on how the book turns out.
That's a problem, because the one last thing in my mind was, should I give you the right to take a look at the book at the end and make a final call on whether or not you should be able to decide, yes, I do want my name on the book. I don't want to put you folks in a position where you have to have contact with each other again. So, like it or not, I'm going to make that call right now. And I'm going to make that call against you. And I'm going to say that you don't have a right to go ahead and have your name on that cover, just because it will create so many legal pitfalls for the next people who are going to put that thing together and change and go back and re-edit, that we're just done. You edited his work. You got paid $4,000 for it. The rest of what's in there, you don't have a right to use. If it came from him, it'd be plagiarism for you to use. And you don't have a right to get it because your relationship has been severed. Okay? Good luck, folks.
Yeah.
Let's talk to the author here, coming out of the courtroom here with empty-handed. What's your feeling here?
I feel like I feel good about this. I got the lady off my book. That was the main reason. I didn't mind the $4,000. She did do some work for me, and but she didn't like the content of my book. Didn't like the content of my book, so I didn't want her name on it. So now I'm going to find myself another freelance writer and go on with this and finish it up.
I have a contract.
And I'll make sure I have a contract in the beginning set up.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. You head right down here. All right. So, what's your feeling on this outcome? Step on in here. This ruling?
He wanted the $4,000 back because he claimed that I was going to do it for free, and that was never the case. And we were collaborating on the entire story, and we got to one little.
Give us a review of his of his work, of his story. Let's say.
Oh, he's an incredible storyteller. Just when you think you have it figured out, another situation arises and it takes you off in a totally different direction. And it was a Hal David Bacharach made in heaven.
Do you think this book will ever get published?
I doubt it.
Over to Harvey.
Okay, Kurt, so this is why contracts have to be very specific, and they should not only outline who has to pay what, but they should outline specific duties. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.